Roman Reigns just defeated Jacob Fatu at Backlash, but somehow it feels like Jacob Fatu was the one who truly left the bigger impact, because after the match ended, Jacob Fatu absolutely snapped. He assaulted Roman Reigns with brutal Tongan death grips over and over again. Roman was laid out flat in the middle of the ring, while officials, security, and Adam Pearce desperately tried to pull Jacob away from him, but Jacob would not stop. He kept attacking Roman like a man who had completely lost control, and honestly, we have not seen this side of Jacob Fatu in a very long time. This was not the same loyal bloodline soldier anymore. This was a dangerous, angry, ruthless Jacob Fatu, a version that looked completely done with Roman Reigns. And then things got even crazier after the show, because Roman Reigns, during the post-show interview, straight up said that this should be Jacob Fatu's last night in WWE. Roman even said Jacob never belonged here in the first place. That is a massive statement coming from the tribal chief himself. Now, obviously, this feud is not over. There is no way WWE ends this story after Backlash. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu are almost certainly heading toward another rematch. Now the big question becomes, where is this story actually heading? Because if Jacob Fatu loses again, then what is the point of stretching this feud further? And if WWE truly sees Jacob Fatu as the next megastar, then are they actually preparing to put the championship on him sooner than expected? That is what we are going to talk about in today's video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more wrestling discussion videos, because we keep posting exciting WWE content like this all the time. Now, here's the interesting thing. Roman Reigns literally just won the championship at WrestleMania. So going into Backlash, almost everyone knew Roman was probably retaining. WWE was not going to end Roman's title reign that quickly. But at the same time, WWE had two clear options. Either let Jacob Fatu win the title immediately at Backlash, or simply end the feud there. Because once you start moving into rematches, trilogies, and multiple match rivalries, things become very risky, especially for someone like Jacob Fatu. Jacob is not just another random challenger. WWE clearly views him as one of the future faces of the company, alongside names like Obafemi and Braun Breaker. They see him as a future main event attraction, and that is exactly why this feud feels so important, because if Jacob Fatu keeps losing to Roman Reigns over and over again, eventually the aura starts fading away. Fans can only accept close losses for so long. At some point, Jacob actually needs to win something meaningful, and that is why this Backlash ending felt very intentional. Notice what WWE did. Roman won the match, but Jacob stood tall in the end. That is usually a very important sign in WWE storytelling. The loser standing tall after the match often means the story is far from over, and Jacob did not just stand tall, he absolutely destroyed Roman Reigns after the bell. That attack felt personal, it felt emotional, it felt like years of frustration exploding out at once. And honestly, this might be the beginning of WWE's master plan for heel Jacob Fatu, because it genuinely feels like WWE is now turning Jacob into a full aggressive heel character. A violent, unstable version of Jacob Fatu who is willing to do absolutely anything to provide for his family, which is actually very similar to Roman Reigns. That is the beauty of this storyline. Roman and Jacob are technically the same type of people. Both believe they are doing everything for family. Both believe they are protecting the bloodline. Both believe they deserve to lead. But the difference is, Roman Reigns became calculated and manipulative over time. Jacob Fatu is pure chaos. Jacob is way more emotional, way more aggressive, way more ambitious, and that ambition might eventually destroy him. That is probably the story WWE wants to tell, because Jacob Fatu right now feels like a man who is becoming consumed by obsession. He is desperate to prove himself, desperate to take Roman's spot, desperate to become the new tribal chief, and that desperation is making him more dangerous every single week. But there is another very interesting detail here. Bloodline matches almost never end cleanly. Usually there are interferences, betrayals, distractions, or outside involvement, but at Backlash, none of that happened. The Usos never came out. Nobody helped Roman Reigns, and that could become a major storyline moving forward, because Roman might now start questioning Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. Where were they? Why didn't they help him? Why did they allow Jacob Fatu to destroy him after the match? That alone could create even more tension within the Bloodline story. And then there is another massive wildcard, Zilla Fatu. A lot of fans genuinely expected Zilla Fatu to appear at Backlash. There were heavy rumors and speculation heading into the event, but it never happened. happened, which means WWE might be saving that debut for something even bigger. And honestly, Zilla Fatu could completely change this storyline overnight, because remember, they have teamed together before, they are extremely close, so when Zilla finally debuts, WWE will have two possible directions. Either Zilla helps Jacob Fatu take down Roman Reigns, or WWE shocks everybody by making Zilla side with Roman instead. Imagine that moment. Imagine Jacob thinking Zilla is finally here to support him, only for Zilla to betray him and acknowledge Roman Reigns instead. That would completely break Jacob mentally. And speaking of acknowledgement, there is still one major detail people are forgetting. Jacob Fatu still has not acknowledged Roman Reigns. That was one of the biggest stipulations surrounding this feud. Roman wanted Jacob to acknowledge him, but Jacob has completely refused. And after what happened at Backlash, there is absolutely no chance Jacob acknowledges Roman now. In fact, Jacob looks more ready than ever to destroy Roman completely, which again tells us this feud is nowhere near finished. Now here comes the biggest question. Should Jacob Fatu actually defeat Roman Reigns in the rematch? And honestly, I think there is a very real possibility WWE might actually pull the trigger, because from a long-term perspective, Jacob Fatu honestly makes a lot of sense as champion. Think about it. Jacob is fresh. Jacob is new. Fans are heavily invested in him already. The crowd reactions are getting bigger every week. And most importantly, Jacob has a ton of fresh feuds available. He can feud with Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Zilla Fatu, Braun Breaker, CM Punk, Obafemi. There are so many fresh directions WWE can take with him. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns has already had the historic 1,316-day reign. Roman has already beaten almost everybody, so creatively, Jacob Fatu honestly offers more fresh possibilities right now, and maybe that is exactly why WWE extended this feud instead of ending it at Backlash, because if WWE truly plans on doing a trilogy, then Jacob almost has to win eventually. Otherwise, this entire rivalry starts becoming pointless. Now personally, I still think Roman probably holds the title until at least SummerSlam. That is the only thing making this complicated, because WWE might not want Roman losing this early after finally reclaiming the championship. But if Roman beats Jacob again, then WWE is taking a very dangerous risk, because repeated losses could seriously damage Jacob's momentum, and WWE knows how special Jacob Fatu is right now. That is why this next match feels absolutely crucial. It could either create WWE's next megastar, or completely cool him down. And honestly, that is why this storyline feels so fascinating right now, because for the first time in a very long time, Roman Reigns might actually be facing somebody from his own bloodline who feels just as dangerous as him, somebody just as ruthless, somebody just as hungry, somebody willing to destroy family in order to become the new tribal chief. And that is exactly why WWE's master plan for heel Jacob Fatu could become one of the biggest stories heading into the rest of the year. But now I want to know your thoughts. Should Jacob Fatu defeat Roman Reigns in their next match? Or should WWE continue protecting Roman Reigns as champion for longer?